Hi, my name is Tom Chick. We're going to play Gloom of Kilforth, a recently released fantasy narrative, throw a bunch of dice, draw a bunch of cards game. I'm not going to really be teaching you how to play. I'm just going to be running through it and showing you what a typical game plays like. So let's launch into it. We have 25 days to finish our character's saga. It's called a saga. I don't even know what the character is going to be. We're going to roll all this up in a moment. Within those 25 days, we have to finish our saga, which will unleash an ancient one. These are the big baddies that you have to fight. And then before the 25 days is up, we have to kill that ancient one. Maybe not kill him, overcome him, defeat him. Maybe it's a more peaceful, maybe we talk him down. We'll find out. So let's get into it with day one. Here's the table laid out. Whoops, this is not gloomed yet. We have 25 days, and each day one of these night cards is going to flip over at the end of the day and gloom, that's the name of it, one of these cards, flipping it over and making it dangerous. We know we've lost when the entire map is gloomed, so we don't want that to happen. So within those 25 days, here are 10 sagas, I think 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 10 sagas. We're going to randomly choose a saga. We have, I believe, 10 races and 12 classes. We're randomly going to draw one of those. And we have 4 ancients. These are ugly fellows. And we will randomly choose which one of those we're facing. So let's start with our character. Your character race determines your base stats. Sometimes it might give you a special skill. Here are 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On a roll of 1 to 3, we're going to use one of the first 5. On a 4 to 6, on the second 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These guys are out of the running. We will re-roll a 6. That's a 6. We will re-roll that. 2. We are an elf. An elf heals up, actually doesn't heal up, she gets additional actions when she starts a turn in a forest. We've got some forests here. There's a couple of forests in these little pockets here. Let's find out what class our elf is. We have here 12 classes. So we'll just do a straight up D6. Here are the first 6 classes. Here are the second 6 classes. On a 1 to 3, one of these 6. All right, we just roll a d6, and our elf's profession is an elf soldier. Who ever heard of such a thing? So our elf soldier gets additional actions when she begins a turn, a day in the forest, and because she's a soldier, she gets $1. It's $1. It's actually gold. Whenever she defeats an enemy. So we will put her over here because these cards won't change. These are pretty straightforward. She's got middling everything. She's got a 3 everywhere. It's the most boring elf ever. Our saga, which we must complete before we can fight one of these ancients. The idea, I think, is these ancients are, I don't know, they're sleeping, they're slumbering, they're dormant, they're not ready to come out and destroy the world yet. But we're going to change that with one of these sagas. So we have 10 of them. On a 1 to 3, it'll be one of the first 5. On a 4 to 6, one of the second 5. All right. So one of the first 5. So assassinate a lord, casket of souls, discover a land, dragon's hoard, or escort being. We don't know what kind of entity. It's just a being. We're going to escort it. Maybe if we get a 5. So re-roll a 6, a 1. We're going to assassinate a lord. Here we are, an elf soldier. Our goal is to assassinate a lord, and once we assassinate that lord, we can go up against the Abbess of Penance, the Deacon of Betrayal, the Marquis of Pain, or the Prince of Ruin. Reroll a 5 and a 6. Reroll that. A 4. We're going up against the Prince of Ruin. But before we do that, we must assassinate a lord. I think the idea is that the Prince of Ruin, let's just say that this lord is going to summon this Prince of Ruin. Fill in your own blanks. Now, we are also going to draw 2 starting items for our character. Now, actually, before we do that, so we will put the Prince of Ruin over here, because he's dormant. Every night we flip one of these up. The Prince has 6 plot cards. These are going to be seated out here on the board, and whenever, let's see, what type of territory does the Prince like? The Prince is partial to forests. Here are his special abilities when we fight him. Whenever a forest, which is where we as an elf want to be, falls into gloom, one of these plots will get flipped face up. And these plots, if we don't shut them down, they don't hurt us directly on the map, but if we don't shut them down, they give him a bonus during the final battle. Now, you're not supposed to do it this way, but one of my mods, because I'm constantly forgetting, the idea is that this is a deck, and whenever a forest, here we go, whenever the forests gloom, we're supposed to flip one of these up. I'm constantly forgetting that. So to remind myself, we're just going to pre-deal our plots. So every time forest flips, we know, wait, we can't flip it. There's a card on top of it. What? Oh, I see. We have to remember that's the plot. All right, so the Prince of Ruin wants those things to come out. Here's the other thing that I apply a user mod for. Your saga has 4 chapters, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then a finale. Let me show you the finale. We are going to a Labyrinth Lair. The artwork in this is worth appreciating. That focus, there you go. Yeah, Labyrinth Lair, not in focus. Come on, show the Labyrinth Lair better. There, look at that. It's going to be a little blurry, whatever. Come on. Look, focus on that. Camera. There. There's our Labyrinth Lair. Now, it's going to take sneaking ability to defeat it, which is not something that we're generally going to have as a soldier. And if we do defeat this Labyrinth Lair and get through it, there will be an uprising, which will then get us 3 additional sneak points. This is not going to be terribly useful. At least there's not a lot of synergy between this and a typical elf soldier. We'll see how things unfold, but this right here will be hard for us to come by. Our finale will be difficult, suffice to say. Now, along the way, each of these chapters requires amassing certain keywords, accumulating them. Rather than me look at this and then check, oh, what do I need later? Here's what I do when I play. I just write the keywords down. So for the first chapter, we need a forest card. We need a mountain card. It's a good place for soldiers to go. And we need a place. Places are types of cards. You tend to find those in forests. For the second chapter, we again need a place, another one, because we will have had to cash this one in the first chapter. We need an enemy. Soldiers are adept at fighting those. And we'll need a title. Titles are things you tend to get in, you get titles from places, which we find in forests. So, so far so good for an elf. Then in chapter 3, we need a title. Presumably we can just use the same title we had in chapter 2. We will need a stranger. These are basically just neutral characters who can go aggro on you if you're not careful. And an item. All right, and then finally for chapter 4, we will need a place. Now, I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of text above the list of keywords. We'll need a quest, and then we will need a unique keyword. You can only have one of these in play at once, called pious, which we don't have. Right now, we just have martial. So if you'll note, there's a lot of text up here. Let me just put this up here so you can enjoy it. This presumably explains why you need these keywords, a place, a quest, and to be pious. I'm not sure it does a very good job. I think you can see where they're sort of trying, but eventually it just kind of whiffs and throws a bunch of keywords out. So we're going to put this list over here so we can refer to it as needed. We are going to put this right here just to show that, hey, this is what we're headed towards. This will be in the Shrouded Glade. The Shrouded Glade is, I presume, what kind of territory would a glade be? It is I'm looking at my reference here, a forest, of course. So down here is where this finale will take place. And I'm actually going to represent that. You guys get to enjoy my artwork here. What is it? It's a Labyrinth Lair. How do we represent that? There, this is a maze. There's our Labyrinth Lair. And I will put this little chit right here just to remind us. Oh, by the way, these colored discs here represent shortcuts. The old wood connects directly to the dark mire. They are adjacent in terms of movement, and the same with Lava Canyon and Barrow Moor up here, which can help us. The reason that these territories are picked out is each one is the place that one of the four ancients will appear. So the Prince of Ruin is going to appear in the Old Wood. So if we're faffing about over here, and suddenly we have to get over here and fight the Prince of Ruin, just go through the Dark Mire. Okay, we will need our martial cards. This is not going to be a great combo. Let's see how this plays out. All right, each time we level up, we get to choose one of these. We will not need the other ones. We start with 4 health. We can stealth. I'll show you that in a little bit. We get 1 gold, and your number of actions you have each turn is equal to your amount of health. All right, so let's get started. We begin in Sprawl City in the very center of the map. Sprawl City doesn't have a terrain type. I guess city is a terrain type. Actually, I'm gonna put this up here. All right, so there's our elf soldier. Here are the skill cards she doesn't have yet, and her stats. Okay, let's now get a standee for the elf soldier. I presume you really only need a standee for your player character. There's standees, is that the elf? No, that's not an elf. There's an elf. All right. Eventually, the Prince of Ruin, when he comes out, he'll get a standee. So we'll just have him park over there, and we will start in Sprawl City. All right, let's begin day 1 by using 4 actions. But first, a sip of espresso. Cheers. Oh, no, before I forget, we get to draw 2 of a type of card and choose one of them to begin the game. So let's see, we're going to need a title eventually. So why don't we just go ahead and get our title, although we'll be in the forests. Maybe an item. Maybe we can start with a good, helpful item. Let's do that. Okay, so here's the item deck. Let me just quickly shuffle these as I use them. These are color-coded, so items are red, which is also the color of mountains. And what the game is kind of telling you there is that you're more likely to get items in mountains because you get items from monsters. And monsters are most commonly found, as far as deck distribution, in the mountain deck. All right, so for our 2 starting items, these look both thematic and helpful. We only get 1, though. Power Gauntlets or an Elven Cloak. I think clearly the Power Gauntlets, and all these do is add 1 point to our respective stats for combat or sneaking. In order to get these, they're going to be in our hand, and I'm going to have a hand of cards over here. We have to go to the territory where they're located. So the Power Gauntlets are in the open heath, which is way up here, and the Elven Cloak, which I can tell you right now, we're not going to get that. That's in the Shrouded Glade, which is right here, which is where this labyrinth will be that we eventually have to navigate. Let's take the Power Gauntlets. So this gets shuffled back into the item deck. So what that means is that we're going to sort of mosey over towards the open heath. Because once we get there, that'll give us an extra combat point. Let's see. Now, when we fight this guy, it's all about if you succeed against this fellow. We're going to have to sacrifice, if we have a title, which we will because we're going to need them for our quest, we're going to have to sacrifice it before the battle. He gains +1, okay, right. When a battle round starts, we sacrifice an asset at the beginning of every round. That'll be painful. And when forests flip into gloom, his plots unfold. All right, so basically we're going to have to burn through our assets. You have a hand of cards over here. These are not your assets. These are considered rumors. As you verify the rumors and put them into play, we're going to line them up here, and those will be our assets. We can have a maximum of 6 of those, maximum of 6 rumors. We currently have a rumor for some power gauntlets. I'm going to draw a picture of power gauntlets on this little bitty icon, this little bitty token. Does those look like power gauntlets? They're 2 red hands, red being the color of power. And that's in the open heath, so we'll put that there. All right, so for our first turn, we're going to use 1 action to go into stealth mode. We're going to mosey over to the Wretched Bog, and that'll mean we draw a Badlands card. Give these a quick shuffle. When you arrive at a location without any encounters, now it's important to realize not all cards are encounters. These plots are not encounters. When you arrive somewhere with no encounters, you draw 1. So we have here at the Wretched Bog a quest. We could rescue someone. It looks like a small child in need of rescue. This quest looks relatively easy. It would only take 2 points of study or 2 points of influence. We've got a 3 in both of those. However, it'll get us a spell and a dollar. It's not really going to help us that much. You'll note we need a forest card and a mountain card and a place. Places tend to be found in forests. So we're hidden, which is good. Let's just mosey on into the rolling hills. Look at these gently rolling hills. Nope, it's pretty precipitous cliffs. That will be drawing a mountain card. As our elf soldier moseys into the rolling hills. I guess it's ironically named Rolling Hills. All right, and we encounter a king's tomb, which is a place which we can definitely use. We can also use a mountain card. Now, this king's tomb is going to require 5 points of stealth, which can we do that in 2 rounds? Oh, I've forgotten to give myself fate. You begin the game with 4 points of fate, and you can use fate once a day to give yourself an automatic success in a check. So let's try it. Let's see if we can plunder this king's tomb. Oh, revealed. Draw a Badlands encounter. If it's an enemy, put it into play at this location. Otherwise, discard it. So Badlands or swamps. There are a fair number of enemies in Badlands. Let's draw a Badlands card if it's an enemy. Yep, it's here. We are hidden, so we can either surprise it. We'll get a gold if we kill it if it's an enemy, or we can stealth past it. It is an event. I'm glad to get rid of this event. It's lame, so we discard this, fortunately. All right, we will not be drawing a haunting in Badlands in this game, which is fine by me. Haunting, basically, what does that do? It basically says, you have to check your study, and if you fail, you lose 2 hit points. Because, of course, hauntings are painful. They hurt. All right, so let's go for this King's Tomb. We have 3 dice. Oh, by the way, this board game play is sponsored by Red Dead Redemption 2. They sent me this with the game, and I thought it was just like a tray for your car keys or something, until someone said, no, that's you roll dice in it. And I was like, why do I need a container to roll dice? The table's fine. And I eventually tried it, and I'm won over by these. Not necessarily in games at a table with a bunch of people, but certainly solitaire. And certainly when you're making a video, it keeps the dice contained and easy to see. So 5s and 6s are hits. There we go. That's 2 hits. That took an action. Let's try again. Hopefully we get 1 hit at least. There's our 1 hit. We will spend a fate. What was that? Oh, shoot, it takes 5. Dagnabbit. We needed 2 there. All right, we can't use 2 fate in 1 day. So, all right, we failed. We couldn't get into the King's Tomb in the Rolling Hills, and that is day 1. We make camp, which means we end our turn. If we'd had any additional actions, those would just be lost. And then let's see what happens during the night. Let me give the night deck a real quick shuffle here. I can tell you one thing that's going to happen. One of these 25 locations is going to flip into gloom. When a location is in gloom, if you end your turn there, if you make camp at the end of a day, you lose a point of health, which early on can be pretty painful. Eventually, by the time we're at level 4, we'll have 8 health. One of the main reasons you want to level up is it gives you additional health, and one of the main reasons you want additional health is because it gives you an additional action. When you break camp at the beginning of every day, you get actions equal to your health. All right, so this night we have A civil war, which simply means Sprawl City flips. So if you end your turn there, you take a point of damage. And that was day 1. Let's move on to day 2.